almost done with the project lifecycle. 2 more stages, this one and the next one, the close stage. Good day, everyone. And this stage, we call it initial operation stage. And as I was closing the previous stage, I had mentioned that potentially these 2 stages can be combined on small, medium, maybe some simple project that's perfectly normal. On bigger project, especially facilities project, definitely a split is needed. So we are here, and notice at this point we have 6. That means the handover has been done. Yes, it's not final acceptance yet. Yeah, so gate 6 represent, are we ready for handover? And if we were, we would actually perform the handover activities and go into the initial operation. Now, technically, gate 7 could match 6 in implementation. If the work is totally done and nothing else for the implementation team to do, then at gate 6, we will release them. But often we need still some people hanging around to help us with some fix-ups, snag item, punch list item, whatever you'd like to call them, that could be remaining on the project after gate 6. But for sure, gate 7 must happen before gate 8. So initial operation period, we sometimes call it pilot as well. And what we mean by pilot here is that not a research pilot, because in research projects you use the term pilot to mean something else. In this case, what do we mean by a pilot? Let's say you are doing an organizational change project. Let's say you have an HR project for performance appraisal for a big organization that have branches in different parts of the world. So ideally, before you do a big bang kind of thing, so basically you do design of the project and the new system and you roll it out in one place in one time, actually in one time across all offices, and which we call the big bang effect, which might backfire big time. Ideally, you might choose a location to pilot the results. So you go through the whole project, you design the HR system, the procedures, the guideline, the policies, everything, and then you implement it, or you roll it out after the design, after the operation readiness. You implement it into one location, and in order for you to capture some learning from that location, maybe there are some bugs or issues or gaps that you need to fix before you roll it out into other divisions. That's what we call it, a pilot. Or maybe we don't need a pilot, we need initial operation. For example, in facilities, plant facilities, like refinery, chemical plant, water bottling plant, when we accept the product from the construction people, it's not like we can go immediately to operate. We'll have to commission. So that's when we usually do the final testing and commissioning. Pre-commissioning is something we do pre-handover. Post-handover and initial operation, that's what we need to do. And after maybe an initial operation period, we lead to the final acceptance. Now, again, if we don't need initial operation, then stage gate 8 will coincide with stage gate 6. So basically here is to indicate that this is the effective completion of the project product. There might be some warranty period that basically keep the project alive for another year in order to maybe before you can clear all the payments. That's a contractual issue. We don't want to get into too much detail at this stage. And what the only thing remaining is the project closure. So as you can see, this is very quick, straightforward stage. If you need pilots, if you need a initial operation, that's the time to do it. Now, as I close this stage, and since we are closing the life cycle shortly, or maybe in another module, here we're going to ask you a question, and once again we're going to ask you to pause the video and write down your thoughts after each question. If you reflect back on this quest, on this course so far, from the beginning till now, and if you had considered a project that maybe you were thinking about as you were going through these different modules, did you define the acceptance criteria for the project? If you recall, acceptance criteria is something we covered back in the authorization document, and what we said, every project should have an acceptance criteria, so completion will not be the only criteria. which mean on what basis would your sponsor or the project owner or your client, internal or external, would accept your project? Has that been defined? Or do you usually do that in an organization? Pause. You can go right. When you finish, come back. Did you differentiate, again, as you've been reflecting back on this course, did you differentiate between completion, acceptance, and success? Completing something, that doesn't mean it could be accepted. And if it's accepted, that doesn't mean it's successful. Do you realize that? Do you consider separating these three things? Sorry. Pause. When you're ready, come back. Did you determine how you will measure success on the project? That's usually a tough question, and many people will say, well, customer satisfaction is this, or below budget. Whatever. Do you measure? Do you define and measure success? So, and usually that is also back in the authorization document, but maybe now you have a better appreciation for that. We will have level 7 focusing on project success. And with this, I end this stage. One more on the project lifecycle. We still have a few more before we can close out this course. Have a great day.